I am okay. This is part 2 of the recording of the hearing in the case of Holly Koch versus Marcus Theaters. It's August 12th, 2021, case number, ERD case number CR 2018-03456. Okay, so here we are in the new recording. We are in the respondent's case now, and the respondent has one witness, and that's Stacy Bobble, and she's about just a minute here. She is about to testify, but as was the case yesterday, because Ms. Bobble testified at Kelly Viter's hearing as well, I'm going to have to swear you in. If this is a new hearing, so I'm going to swear you in again. So if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And again, your name is spelled Stacy-Babl, correct?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Murray.
Ms. Bobble, thank you for your patience this afternoon. I will try not to prolong this any more than necessary. Where do you work?
The Marcus Corporation.
What is your position?
I am the Vice President of Human Resources for the Theaters Division.
Can you explain what the relationship is between the Theater Division and the Marcus Corporation?
Certainly. So the Marcus Corporation has a couple of divisions that are subsidiaries of that corporation.
Okay. And what does the Theater Division do?
We own and operate 88 cinemas in 17 states.
Including the Bistroplex and the Southridge Mall?
Correct.
How long have you been the Vice President of Human Resources for the Theater Division?
Since May of this year.
How long have you been working for Marcus?
Since June of 2018.
So what was your job before your current position?
I was Director of Human Resources.
So now you were the Director of HR, and now you're the, what is the position?
The Vice President.
Vice President. And just Vice President of HR, or there's another?
No, just Vice President of Human Resources.
Oh, of Human, okay. All right, thank you.
Now, you were a Director of Human Resources in the Theater Division as well, correct?
Correct.
So can you generally describe what your responsibilities were at the time you were a director?
Certainly. So I was primarily responsible for the employee relations function for the Theaters Division.
Okay, what does that mean?
Myself and my 2 HR business partners would provide coverage over all of the theaters in the division. Managers would call us, contact us, associates would call us and contact us if they had concerns. And then we were responsible for doing investigations and making recommendations on next steps.
Okay. So you did participate in workplace investigations?
I did.
You also said you would make recommendations on next steps. Can you explain that?
Certainly. So depending on the type of investigation and my level of involvement, my recommendation may be stronger, may have been stronger in some cases than in others. But what I would do is work with the general manager and explain the findings of the investigation and let him or her know what we needed to do as those next steps.
Did you ever recommend discharge?
I did.
Did the managers typically follow whatever recommendation you made?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about some of the bases for discharge, and I'd like to turn to Respondents Exhibit 3, page 27, which is, I believe, ERD 233.
Okay, I have to share the screen.
I don't know that you do, because Ms. Bobble has the printed.
Yeah, I guess we've talked about this document already, but because so that Ms. Koch can follow along.
You're right.
That's,
You're right.
That would be the reason. I was hoping everyone would have the copies, but since Ms. Koch doesn't, I guess we should look at the documents on the screen. So just a minute, it's share the screen. Gotta do that.
So let's start with page 1 of the exhibit before we skip to the page I was referencing.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what exhibit did you want to look at? R3. Okay.
R3, yes, please.
R3. And that's already in the record.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, what page did you want to go to?
Well, let's go to the first page for a second. Ms. Bobble, I just want to confirm that this is the associate handbook that's in effect for Wisconsin Theater Associates in 2017.
Yep, that's what it looks to be. Yes.
Now, I'd like to go to page 27, which is ERD 233.
Is this the right page?
233. You're on 220.
Oh, yeah. Got it. I thought I got there too soon.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Okay, this is
there we
good.
are. Yeah.
I want to focus on the section that begins with the heading unacceptable associate behavior. Below that, ethical and honesty issues. The first two bullet points. Can you generally summarize the prohibited conduct addressed in the first two bullet points there?
Yes, I mean, this certainly covers, I couldn't list every situation that it covers, but in terms of dishonesty, unethical behavior, what I would say is anytime that somebody would present something to the manager in benefit for themselves, it would be dishonest behavior.
And that's when you talk about presenting something to a manager, that's falsification of company records?
Correct. That would be the second bullet for the falsification. But even if they made a statement, that would fall under the first bullet, the dishonesty.
During the time you were director, was there ever a time when you did not recommend discharge for somebody who falsified company records?
No, I actually take a pretty hard stance on that and have in my entire career.
And I'm not interested in your entire career. I'm just focusing on the time that you were working as a director for Marcus.
Yes.
Can you think of, other than Ms. Koch and Ms. Viter, can you think of other times you recommended that course of action for that infraction when you were a director?
Yes.
Let's talk specifically about Ms. Koch. At this point, I'd like you to turn to Respondents Exhibit 4. Actually, let's change that. Let's go to Respondents Exhibit 5. I'm going to start on the first page, which is ERD 250.
Okay.
Ms. Bobble, have you seen ERD 250 before?
I have.
What is it?
This is the cover page of a letter we received from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
How did it first come to you?
It was forwarded to me from the Bistroplex Cinema, from the manager there. They stated they had received it directly from the department.
Okay. Now, when you received this first page, first of all, the exhibit has 4 pages with it. Were all 4 pages part of what you first received?
Yes.
And when you first received Exhibit 5, what was your understanding of why the department had faxed this to the Bistroplex?
My understanding was that we needed to verify the reference letters or the letters of verification were accurate, according to what the Department of Health Services was requesting.
And the reference letters you're talking about are ERD pages 251 and 252?
Yes.
We could turn to 251 first.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
This is 251. There we go.
Yep. So, Ms. Bobble, when you saw page ERD 251, what was your understanding of what it was?
What it appeared to be is a letter of employment verification from someone allegedly being one of our general managers.
You're talking about Emily Peterson there?
Correct.
Did Emily Peterson was the general manager where?
She was at our DePere location in Missouri at the time.
And I will talk about those specific dates in a moment, but before I do, did she ever work at the Bistroplex?
She did.
As what?
She was an operations manager.
Okay. Now, you said it's a reference letter. Substantively, what did you understand the substance of ERD 251 to be? What is it conveying?
That Ms. Koch had left, that her last date of employment was March 30th of 2018.
Now, this is not the only letter purportedly from Ms. Peterson that the department provided you, was it?
It was not.
Please look at ERD 252. This also is a letter which purports to be from Emily Peterson, correct?
Correct.
What was the substance of this letter?
This letter appeared to state again that Ms. Koch's employment had ended on March 30th, but that she had returned for a short period of time from June to August of 2018, but then was no longer employed. So a break in service.
Okay. So when you received the fax and the two letters from the department, it was your understanding that they were asking you to verify the information we've just reviewed in pages 251 and 252.
Yes.
We offer Respondents Exhibit 5.
Okay, any objection? If not, then Respondents Exhibit number 5 is received.
So, Ms. Bobble, after you had reviewed the pages that comprise Respondents Exhibit 5, what did you do?
I immediately went into our human resource information system to check the dates of employment for Ms. Koch.
Okay, is that an online system, a digital system?
It is. It's an online system.
And what is
Okay.
the name of the system again?
It's PeopleSoft is the actual.
It's
software.
PeopleSoft, and you call it the what information system?
It's a human capital management system or human resource information system, interchangeable.
Okay.
So let's start again. You checked it for what purpose?
To verify the dates of employment as were written in the letter.
Okay.
Both letters, sorry.
Correct, the two letters. And when you looked at it, what did you see?
I saw that Ms. Koch was still employed with us and had not had any breaks in service.
So her employment did not end either in March of 2018 or in August of 2018?
Correct.
Okay. So the first thing you did was look at this online personnel file, look at Ms. Koch's dates of employment. Did you do anything else to investigate what you had received from the department?
Yes, I reached out to Ms. Peterson.
Okay. How did you do that?
I had emailed her.
Why email?
At the time, she was on leave of absence and she was in Missouri. So I felt it was best to just contact her via email, plus I'd have written record.
Okay, let's go back and tighten up those dates then. I guess where I'd start is Respondents Exhibit 9.
Okay, just a minute. So R9, okay, starts on page ERD page 260, and you want to go.
It's a one-page exhibit.
It's a one-page exhibit, so that's just the cover sheet. So now we're on page 261. Okay.
So Ms. Bobble, what is Respondents Exhibit 9?
This appears to be a screen in our human resource information system for Ms. Peterson's employment.
So it's a screenshot or a printout of something from that system.
Correct.
What information does Response Exhibit 9 show about Ms. Peterson's employment?
This shows the transfer date of her move to the general manager position at DePere.
When did she become the general manager at DePere?
On May 18th of 2018.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the system before we move on. This online system, how does Marcus use it?
It is what we would say is our system of record. So every single personnel move about any associate is kept in that system. So pay, where they've worked, if they transfer, if they're terminated, the reasons for termination, etc.
And this online record is kept for every associate at Marcus?
Yes.
And the company maintains this as part of the normal course of its HR business?
Yes.
We offer Respondents Exhibit 9.
Okay, if there's no objection, then I'm going to receive Respondents Exhibit number 5.
9.
Did I say, Respondents 9. I thought I said that, but if I didn't, then
Oh,
yes,
I'm sorry.
whatever. I'm receiving Respondents Exhibit number 9 into the record.
Now, Ms. Bobble, you said that before she became the general manager in Missouri in May of 2018, that Ms. Peterson was the operations manager at Bistroplex?
Yes.
I want to pin down that date as well. Could you please turn to Respondents Exhibit 8?
Okay, here's Respondents Exhibit 8, and now we're looking at page 259.
Ms. Bubble, this appears to be another printout or screenshot of the online HR system we were talking about, is it?
Yes,
This also relates to Emily Peterson?
it does.
So what information does this provide about Ms. Peterson's tenure as operations manager?
This shows her transfer to the Bistroplex as an operations manager from a previous role.
Does it show when that happened?
It does.
What was the date?
May 12th of 2017.
So at least based on the 2 records we reviewed, it appears that Emily Peterson was the operations manager at the Bistroplex from May of 2017 to May of 2018.
Yes.
During most of that time, Ms. Koch also would have been working at the Bistroplex.
Correct.
Now, we've taken a little bit of a frolicking detour here. You were starting to talk about emails you sent Ms. Peterson to explore the accuracy of the 2 letters you received from the Department of Health Services.
Yes.
Let's go to Respondents Exhibit 10.
Did you intend to offer in Respondents 8?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's no objection, then I will receive Respondents Exhibit number 8 into evidence. Okay, and now which document do you want to go to?
Respondents Exhibit 10, please.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to the screen here. Here's Respondents 10. Starts on page 262, but you want to go.
It starts on, yes, you're correct. Page 263, please.
Here we are.
Ms. Bobble, have you seen Respondents Exhibit 10 before?
I have.
What is it?
This is a copy of the email that I sent to Ms. Peterson.
Can you tell what date you sent it?
Yes, December 11th of 2018.
Okay. What in this email, what was your message to Ms. Peterson?
I was asking her if she had written letters of reference for employment.
For whom?
For Ms. Viter and Ms. Koch.
And in this situation for Ms. Koch, are you referencing the 2 letters we reviewed as part of Respondents Exhibit 5?
I am.
Did you include those letters as attachments to your email?
I did not as attachments to this particular email, no.
Did you provide them to Ms. Peterson?
I did, yes.
How?
I sent them to her via email as well.
Oh, by a separate email?
Correct, yep.
Okay. We offer Respondents Exhibit 10.
Okay, if there aren't any objections, then I receive Respondents Exhibit number 10 into the record, but I just want to ask a clarification. question here. So you, in Respondents Exhibit 10, in your email, you say, I'm assuming that you did not write these letters, but I am just verifying. So you sent the letters in as attachments to a separate email. Is that right? As you just said?
They were not attachments. So they came over to me in our system. When you scan them, you can scan and email them. So the Bistroplex Cinema had scanned and emailed them to me. So I forwarded them.
Okay. But so am I correct in thinking that you sent 3 letters then to to Emily Peterson, right? There were 2 letters that we've seen that were letters relating to Ms. Koch, right?
Correct. Yep.
And let's see, what exhibit numbers were those?
They're the second and third pages of Respondents Exhibit 5.
Right. So the letters we looked at in Respondents Exhibit 5, there were 2 separate letters. And then you also sent a letter, which we do not have in the record today, but it was in yesterday's hearing. But in any event, and we don't need to get it in the record here, but I just want you to state that you also sent a copy of a letter that had to do with Kelly Viter's relating to her food stamp eligibility and whether she was employed or not with Marcus. Right.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. And again, I'm putting this in my notes. That's why I'm the delay. Okay. So now what?
Ms. Bauble, did Ms. Peterson respond to your email?
She did.
How?
She replied to my email.
Can we please turn to Respondents Exhibit 11?
Yes. Here's Respondents 11. Yep. Let me go down.
I cut my grass. I still cut grass. I cut it like
So we're looking at ERD page 265.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I will. I'll take care of you, Mom.
Ms.
Bauble.
Viter, I mean, Ms. Koch, is that, I'm hearing background
Oh,
noise.
no,
Is that at the,
that's somebody ordering food. That's heavy.
no, I know it's not you, but it's, well, hopefully that'll go away soon.
Yeah.
That sound is a little distracting. I
Okay.
suppose you could turn off your audio unless you
mute
need
it?
to say something, then you can always turn it back on.
Okay, I can mute it.
Mute it, please. Yes.
I can't do it now. It's frozen.
You can't. It's frozen. That's odd. Well, we'll deal with that later. Then it's okay now. I'm not hearing anything. Okay, so go ahead. We're looking at page 265. We're looking at Respondents Exhibit 11.
Ms. Bauble, have you seen this before?
I have.
The bottom half is a portion of your email to Ms. Peterson. What's the top half?
That is Ms. Peterson's reply to my email.
And what was your understanding of the substance of Ms. Peterson's reply?
She was stating she did not write any letters of employment verification, that she actually forwards any employment verifications to a company called The Work Number. We use them for all employment verifications.
Explain that. This company's called The Work Number?
Yes.
How does Marcus use them?
So anytime an outside company is looking for verification of dates of employment or positions held within the organization, we provide that phone number to that outside company.
Why?
It provides consistency in the types of employment verifications we're giving.
So if a manager like Ms. Peterson gets a request for a verification of someone's employment or the end of their employment, what is she supposed to do?
Give the work number to that company or individual reaching out.
And is that training that HR provides these managers?
Yes, it's in orientation and it's
That-
refreshed.
That was training that you provided managers like Emily Peterson during the time you were a director.
Correct.
We offer Respondents Exhibit 11.
Okay. If there aren't any objections, Respondents Exhibit number 11 is received into evidence. Okay.
So, Ms. Bobble, at this point, you received the request for verification from the Department of Health Services. You looked at Ms. Koch's employment record to see that her employment did not end in March or August of 2018. And you talked to Emily Peterson, and she said she did not send the 2 letters that were submitted to the department on Ms. Koch's behalf. What then?
I called Adam Levetso, the general manager at Bistroplex,
Why?
to let him know that I had found that the letters had been falsified, apparently falsified, and that we would need to proceed with termination of employment.
I'm sorry, I was writing something down. Did you say you called Mr. Levetso, Adam Levetso, or you sent him an email?
I called him.
You called him. Okay, just one moment. I'm going to stop sharing the document so I can see you better on the screen. Okay, so after you did completed your investigation that you've told us about, you called Adam Levetso, right? And then what? I'm sorry, what did you tell him?
That I had found that the letters had been falsified and that we would need to proceed with termination of employment.
And you said that with regard to both Ms. Kelly Viter and also Holly Koch, right?
Correct.
Why were you recommending Ms. Koch's discharge?
The letters had been falsified and that is a violation of company policy.
And you're referring to the policy that we reviewed in the employee handbook?
Correct.
So you recommended they be terminated, or you instructed that they be terminated, or what?
Yeah, it was a recommendation, but in cases such as this, it's a strong recommendation to the managers.
Essentially, you were telling Mr. Levetso to fire Ms. Koch and Ms. Viter.
Yes, essentially.
And how did he respond?
He said, okay. We talked through what the reasoning was and what the findings were of my investigation.
Did you review any of the discharge documentation he prepared?
Yeah, I walked through the termination paperwork with him. I honestly do not remember if he had sent it to me first and shown it to me, or if it was just on the phone that we talked through it.
Would it jog your memory at all to see it now?
Sure.
Let's look at Respondents Exhibit 4 then, please.
Okay, so it's a coaching and counseling action form, and we already looked at this as page 248.
You're currently not sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm looking at it. I forgot I wasn't sharing it. Yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, now you can see it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're looking, it's Respondents Exhibit 4, and it's ERD page 248, and it's already in evidence, by the way.
Yes. Ms. Bobble, my only question, I have more than one question, but my first question is, did you see this in conjunction with Ms. Koch's discharge?
In conjunction with the discharge, I honestly don't remember if I saw it at the time
Okay.
or if I saw it after.
Fine. After the discharge, did you speak with Ms. Koch about that decision?
I did not.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Let me ask a few questions. Before we get, let me stop sharing. Well, No, actually, this is really more for you, Mr. Murray. I just want to clarify. For some reason, I've been keeping a log here, you know, when I receive receive a document and evidence. And for some reason, I didn't mark Respondents Exhibit 7, but we did we,
Yep.
we went over that and we received it, right?
We,
Or did we not do this
well,
one?
we did review Respondents Exhibit 7. There was one we didn't reference. Let me pull it up.
We're still on, oh yeah, I'm screen sharing now. You can see this document. And this is the one, did we look at this? This is showing that Ms. Peterson, I
7, no, I'm
believe.
sorry, you're right. Exhibit Exhibit 7 we did not discuss. We discussed Respondents Exhibit 8 and 9.
And what is yeah, offered? Okay, so
Respondents Exhibit 7 is the only exhibit that we have not discussed. And
we did
it's a
not
record.
discuss it.
That's
Okay, and what is it? And not that we don't have to put it in, but
Right. It's a record that deals with Ms. Koch's contact information. I did not know to what extent the interchangeable use of Koch and Viter would become an issue at the hearing, and that was intended to address that should it become an issue.
oh, okay. I just thought I had missed the, you know, for some reason I hadn't marked this and hadn't shown
Nope.
that it was received. So
That's the only one
so
of Respondents Exhibits
that's
which has
absolutely
not
fine.
been
I don't want,
received
you
and
know,
not going-
and I'm
correct.
not saying you should, you know, put it into evidence. I just
Yep.
was wondering. It's not. So I'll just
It
note
turned
was
out to be
not
unnecessary.
okay, no problem. But it's not. Let me just note this. So, and I will note it on the record too. So, Respondents Exhibit 7. Not offered into evidence. We
That's
didn't
correct.
even mark it. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so now let me see what questions I had. I think I had some questions. And let me just look at something. I hope I turn the recorder back on. It is recording, isn't it? Wait, just a second here. Whoops. I'm going to stop the screen sharing for a moment so I have a better. Please that it's recording. Yes, it is. Good. All right. Let's see. I was going to ask you. Oh, yeah. Well, with regard to the document, and I guess we could go back to it. I don't know that it's necessary. It's the document, it's the coaching and counseling action form, which documents the termination that respondents for. And you weren't sure if you ever saw it, you know, actually saw it. You did talk to Adam and say he should give Ms. Koch, as well as Ms. Koch's sister, Ms. Viter, Kelly Viter, that they should be given notices of termination?
Yeah, I can clarify. So what I meant was I don't recall if I saw it before he had the termination conversation or after. I did see the document. I just don't remember if he sent it to me first, we reviewed it, or if he sent it to me after he had presented and had them sign.
What is the protocol as far as you give a document on some kind of document, I guess this counseling form, to an employee who's being terminated to document that they are being terminated? Are they supposed to be given a copy of it at the time, or just asked to sign it and then you keep the copy in your own records?
They're asked to sign it. If they would like a copy, we tell the managers to make a copy for them.
You do not know if that was done here, do you?
Correct, I do not know.
Now, do you know if it's protocol to, I don't know what the official procedures are, but to also mail a copy to an employee who's been terminated?
That would not be official protocol. The reasoning for doing so, it would be speculation. If they requested he mail it to them, I'm not certain, but that's not general.
So you do not know if a copy of the termination letter was ever sent to Ms. Koch or to her sister, Ms. Viter?
Yeah, not that I can recall.
Now, if you recall, and I can look at the document, or well, you have a copy in front of you actually,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Of Respondents Exhibit 4.
Yes.
And I'm looking at a printed copy. I don't know that we need to go put it on the screen. If Ms. Koch wants to look at it, I can put it on the screen again. But let me just ask you about this. It has this handwritten part, you know, it says suspension pending investigation, and then there's a handwritten part saying it was not them. They want to review it.
Mhm.
Well, I'm a little confused. Okay, so you talked to to Adam, we'll just call him Adam for this purpose, Adam Levetso. You talked to Adam after you did your investigation. You said, hey, I think that, you know, these documents, these letters to the health department, they were falsified. And so, you know, the Ms. Viter and Ms. Koch should be terminated. And all of that. And then the assumption on your part was that then he would carry that through and that decision, and that he would inform the two employees of their termination, right?
Correct.
But did you talk to him then after he met with them?
I would have talked to, yeah, hold on, just give 1 second to recall, because I believe I did, because he told me he provided them with my phone number, and that they may be calling.
So now, I know there's some testimony from yesterday's hearing, but I want to make the record for this hearing complete. When you already said you never heard from Ms. Koch, right? You never
Correct.
got a call from her. But did you get a call from her sister, Kelly Viter?
I did.
And what was the gist of that conversation, if you can recall?
Certainly. So,
And approximately, when did you receive that call, approximately?
I don't recall if it was the same day of the termination or if it was the following day. I know it was relatively close to after the conversation had happened with Adam.
So within a day or two, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the gist of the conversation then when she called you?
She disagreed with the decision to terminate. She insisted that she didn't write the letter. And then she went into a very long backstory about her medical history, and tried saying other things about alleged accidents that had happened in her past. It was a long conversation.
And at the end of it, what was the upshot of it? I mean, she asked if you would change, rescind the termination, and then you said you would not, or like, was that even what was the end of the conversation? What was said?
Yes, correct. I said, we are not going to change the decision. And she was not happy with that. And we got off the phone.
Okay. There's just this a little bit of confusion that I have here, and based on actually yesterday's, but you just gave some testimony, some of the same thing that you said yesterday at Ms. Viter's hearing, but also today this exhibit R4, it makes reference to there being a suspension pending investigation. And I don't recall now, but the records will show that I think both Ms. Viter and Ms. Koch testified that they weren't told that they were terminated, that they were told that they were just suspended. And at least one of the two of them said that. And I believe actually today Ms. Koch testified to that. So what do you have to say about that? Why would that Oh, go ahead. What do you,
Yep,
do you
I
know
can
of that?
clarify. I can
Okay.
clarify. So whenever there's a suspension pending investigation, we would ask the general manager to create a form like this, to start the form and explain the reasoning. And then after the investigation is complete, if we bring them back to work, a document exists that we had suspended pending investigation at one point. If we end up terminating, we actually take that document and it becomes the termination notice.
So the format of Respondents Exhibit 4, not the format, but the way it says, well, pending investigation, but then it appears to be a termination notice, it says termination of employment. That is typical to see that language, to see the reference to a suspension and a termination on the same document?
Yes. Yes.
Would that have made sense in your, well, when you conducted the investigation, you had, it was, now refresh my recollection, did the health services people send you directly that information, or did they send it to Adam first and then he forwarded it to you? Is that what happened?
Yes, they sent it to Adam and then he forwarded it to me.
And then you had to did you also have a conversation with him where you said, okay, I'll look at this, I'm going to do an investigation, I'll get back to you?
I did, yes. And at that time, we said that we would suspend pending the investigation because it was potentially a falsification of company records.
Okay. Now, I'm writing my notes here. Your understanding, you weren't there, of course, when Adam had his meeting with Ms. Viter and Ms. Koch, right?
Correct.
So, but was it your understanding that the way it played out, that he did not meet with them until after you told him that the investigation, that you had conducted an investigation and you concluded that there was falsification and that they should be terminated?
I honestly do not recall if he met with them before that or if I would have had knowledge that he met with them before that.
Would it have made sense for him to have met with them before he was told that you thought they should be terminated?
No, it would not have made sense to.
Your understanding when you, I guess it was 12/11 when you, I think you said you called Adam, right?
Correct.
It was then you understood that, when you said, oh, I think they should be terminated, and your understanding was he was going to carry that out and he was going to terminate them. Your understanding was, and then the other evidence shows that the meeting, that last meeting and the last day of employment was that same day, 12/11.
Correct.
So is it your best, your understanding what happened is that he met with them after you told him that you thought they should be terminated?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Okay. Would it have made sense? I mean, well, I strike that. On 12/11, after you did your investigation, it wasn't a suspension anymore, was it, in your mind? Pending
Correct.
investigation, it was a decision had been made by you and that you conveyed to Adam that they should be terminated.
Correct.
So if he had said to them, oh, you're suspended pending investigation, rather than telling them they were terminated, would that have made sense? I mean, would that have been part of the normal procedure?
No, that would not have been.
I think there was testimony today that he said something like, you're suspended pending investigation, we'll let you know in 10 days. Do you know, is there any 10-day period you're aware of? Is there a 10-day period where you can appeal a termination, or is there Is there any way, any idea you have as to where that 10-day, if in fact that was said, where that would come from?
I have no idea. That does not correlate to any policy or procedure that we have.
Okay. And okay, I'm writing this down. And just, I asked a similar question, or a similar number of questions yesterday at yesterday's hearing, but again today, when at the time you recommended termination, were you, had you ever met Ms. Koch?
I had not.
Did you know somehow what her race was?
I did not.
You, from her name, you probably assumed she was female,
Correct.
correct? Did you know anything about any medical condition that she had?
I did not.
You knew nothing about whether or not she had ever asked for an accommodation for a medical condition.
Correct. I had no knowledge of that.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you, I didn't ask you this yesterday, and I guess I'll ask you now though. Did you know, at the time of the termination, did you know that Ms. Kelly Viter and Ms. Holly Koch were sisters? Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that. Adam had informed me over the phone.
I would assume that that would be why you would have had them together in all of this, in terms of being informed of their termination and so forth together. I assume if it was just two employees who had no connection to each other, that there would have been a separate process.
Correct. Yeah, generally Adam would have met with each employee separately. And if I recall, part of the reason he met with them together was to explain, make sure that both understood, or that he could explain it to both of them, so that it wasn't like, you know, one person is informed and comes out of the room and then tells the other person before they even get in there. You know what I'm saying?
So they would both be told at the same time.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, I think that's it for me. Ms. Koch, do you have any questions? Not your own testimony, that I'll ask you that in a minute, a little later, but do you have any questions you want to ask Ms. Bobble?
No.
Okay, then. Mr. Murray, do you have any follow-up questions to my questions?
I do. I'd just like to follow up on that last week. The Exhibit 4, the fax from the Department of Health Services, is dated December 4. So I understand your testimony, Ms. Bobble, you did not see that until December 4 or December 5, correct?
On or about there for recollection.
I'm sorry, what document, or excuse me, what exhibit are you referring to?
Respondents Exhibit 5. It's dated December 4, and you did not see it, Ms. Bobble, any sooner than December 4.
Oh, correct.
Now, your emails to and from Emily Peterson are dated December 11, correct?
Correct.
Morning of December 11, correct?
Correct.
So prior to talking to Ms. Peterson, you'd already looked at the record.
Wait. Did you know I couldn't hear you?
Oh,
Been
I couldn't
paused.
see you for
Alex.
the last minute. It
Oh.
blanked out and then it said internet problem, blah, blah. It's probably my, on my end
yeah,
here.
the rest of us were all here. I just thought you
Yeah,
cut
and
off.
you thought I could hear you, but I could not. I couldn't hear or see. So I'm sorry.
At the
And
risk
I
of
don't know.
redundancy, we'll start again. So let's start. Respondents Exhibit 5 was a fax that was sent to you on December 4. You did not see that information any sooner than December 4, correct?
Correct.
And do you know if Ms. Koch and Ms. Viter were actually suspended sometime between December 4 and December 11?
My conversation with Adam was for that to occur.
You directed him to suspend them.
Correct.
Okay.
So they were suspended between December 4th or thereabouts, whenever you first saw this fax, and when they were actually terminated. You said they should be terminated on December 11th, right?
Correct.
And between that time, somewhere between December 4 and December 11, you reviewed Ms. Koch's online personnel record, correct?
Correct.
And we looked earlier at your emails between you and Ms. Peterson. Those were Respondents Exhibit 10 and 11. Those emails are both dated December 11, 2018, correct?
Correct.
There's also a timestamp in them that is from the morning of December 11, correct?
Correct.
Based on your prior testimony, your email exchange with Ms. Peterson was the last step in your investigation, right?
Correct.
So I just want to clarify here. You spoke with Mr. Levetzo sometime after your email exchange with Ms. Peterson on December 11, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you told him to end Ms. Koch and Ms. Viter's employment.
Correct.
So when he met with him on December 11, it was your understanding that he was simultaneously ending their suspension and ending their employment.
Correct.
And that is what he confirmed to you in the subsequent conversation with you?
Correct.
I apologize for talking more than you did there in that piece. I just wanted to clear up some things that I believed were already in evidence. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, just to follow up on that. So it took you about a week then to do your investigation, right? Because you got the fax information around December 4th, and then you actually, actually finished up your investigation on December 11th, right?
Yeah, I do not recall when the fax was sent to me. If it was sent like on the 10th and then I started the investigation and, emailed Emily Peterson on the morning of the 11th, I don't recall exactly what day it was sent to me.
Oh, so the fax on Respondents Exhibit 5, the fax date stamp of December 4th, 2018 was when it was received by Adam Levetzo over at his at the theater that he worked at.
Correct.
But it doesn't have a transmission date or time for when it was then sent to you.
Correct.
Okay. And after after Adam met with the two complainants, Viter and Koch, on December 11th, you spoke to him, just to clarify again, you spoke to him after that.
Correct.
And he said, what did he say to you?
He told me that he had terminated them and that they disagreed.
And that they would be calling you because he gave them
Yes.
your number, or he thought they might.
Correct.
But he did say, I just want to clarify this, did he say to you, I told them they were both terminated?
Yes.
The decision, I guess there was testimony both at yesterday's hearing and today about this attorney, Josh, an attorney for the company, that he was called or spoken to at some point. But whatever discussion took place, it didn't change the decision. I mean, the two individuals, the two complainants, Viter and Koch, were both just, the decision remained in place, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that's it for me, I think. And Mr. Murray, you have nothing further, and Ms. Koch, you have nothing to ask the witness? You're not, no, okay. Okay, so then the respondent rests, is that correct?
That is correct.
And I'm just going to look at my exhibit listing here. You have you marked exhibits from respondents exhibit number 1 all the way through respondents exhibit number 11. And all of the exhibits, is that correct? And all the exhibits have been offered in and received except for respondents 7, which was never offered in, right?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, so then we move into the complainant's case in rebuttal. That's what we call it. Now, Ms. Koch, did you want to testify again? This is your rebuttal, a chance for you to speak up if there's something you want to say.
Like
Oh, wait a second, Ms. Koch. She just froze. I don't think she can hear you right now. Yeah, just wait a second.
I'm not saying anything.
You did.
I know I'm about to, and then I'm like,
You did again. Just wait a second.
Problems
Yeah, better.
connecting. Oh,
Here we go.
okay. Could you hear me?
Nope,
Yeah.
couldn't hear a word, but we knew when you cut out and we stopped talking at that point.
Okay, all right, because I said maybe you can hear me, but I can't hear or see you. I didn't know. All right, so this may happen again, and hopefully so far it's happened, I think 2-3 times now, and it's lasted less than a minute. So if it happens again, hopefully it'll be short again. Okay, so anyway, I was trying to explain, Ms. Koch, is there anything else you want to say? And if you do, I just want to explain to you that you are still under oath. You remember earlier today I swore you in that you're to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. I'm not going to swear you in again because I already did today, but I want you to understand you're still under oath if you testify again, and you swore to tell the truth. So again, that I'm just telling you that so you realize that. So is there anything else you want to say?
no. That's what I
Okay.
told you. That
Okay. If that's the case, then that's it for the testimony.
okay.
So then really this hearing is completed. I have the testimony. Well, I will decide this case based on the testimony and based on the documents that have been received into evidence. And I am assuming that the parties are not going to be submitting any written briefs. So the record is closed then as of today. And so the decision will be mailed out to both parties and to counsel. And then whatever information is in, if there's, depending on what the decision is, if there'll be information about appealing the decision. And Ms. Koch, if you change your address, please let us know, because we send all the documentation to people at their last known address. So to make sure that you get whatever we send out, you need to tell us if you change your address. So that's it, I guess. Anything that anyone wants to say, or any questions? No? All right, then thank you. And I appreciate, and thank you, Ms. Koch, for coming back to us. And I'm glad the McDonald's worked out for you.
Something.
I'm sorry? Well-
I can order you something.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
wish. Yeah, I wish. Well, now you can go and eat something at least.
Yep.
All right. And yeah, I'm surprised they never kicked you out or anything, but,
I just say I quietly, like, don't move.
okay. Well, I'm glad it worked out in the end. All right. Well, thank you. And, that's it for now. I'm going to go off the record.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to both of you.